You wake up, your phone is already screaming. Notifications, messages, the algorithm churning. Every app designed to pull you fractionally away from what matters. This is the noise of the modern world infinite. Relentless, perfectly engineered to keep you scattered. And most people, they surrender to it. They call it living. They call it staying connected. But connection to what? To everyone except yourself. Napoleon Hill understood something that feels even more true today than it did a century ago. Chaos is not your enemy. Chaos is the default state. Chaos is what happens when you stop deciding and let the world decide for you. The enemy is not chaos. The enemy is the absence of discipline. Because discipline is not punishment. Discipline is power. Discipline is the engine that transforms the noise into fuel, the scattered into the focused, the potential into the inevitable. Think about your day like a machine. Every decision you make is a gear. Every action is a tooth engaging with the next gear. When you're undisciplined, those gears are grinding against nothing friction, heat, wasted energy. But when you bring discipline, when you decide what matters and you protect that decision with your entire being, those gears lock, they move forward, they pull the machine with them. That is the action engine. That is how momentum is built. The chaos doesn't go away. You don't wake up tomorrow and find a quiet world. What changes is you. What changes is your decision to stop being reactive and start being generative, to stop asking, what should I do? And start declaring, this is what I will do. And then, this is the crucial part. You do it. Not when you feel like it. Not when the conditions are perfect. Now today, in this moment. But here is what most people miss. Discipline without direction is just brutality. You need the thing. You need the North Star. You need to know with absolute clarity what you're building toward. Because the mind is a system of focus. It will not sustain effort towards something vague. It will not burn fuel for a target shrouded in fog. You have to know. Not think about knowing. Know. So every morning, before the world wakes up, before the notifications start their symphony, you speak to yourself. You're not being weird. You're programming. You're installing code into your own operating system. You say it out loud or you write it down. And the specificity matters. I am building toward this. Today I will execute this specific action. Nothing interrupts this. Not because you're magical, not because you're special, but because repetition is the architecture of belief. Your mind doesn't change through inspiration. It changes through iteration. Say the same truth to yourself 200 times and it stops being a hope and starts being a fact you're already living. This is autosuggestion. This is the private victory that no one sees, but everyone will eventually notice. In the dark of your room on a Tuesday morning when nobody's watching. You're not just thinking. You're rebuilding yourself. Word by word. Commitment by commitment. The engine of change isn't public. The engine is private. And here is the paradox that ruins most people. They want the momentum without the discipline. They want the results without the repetition. They see someone crushing their goals and they think it was luck or talent or timing. But luck is consistency that looks like luck from the outside. Talent is discipline that became a habit so long ago you forgot. It was a choice. Timing is showing up so consistently that when the door opens, you're already standing there. Every single day you make a choice. You either feed the engine or you feed the chaos. You either add a grain to the weight that will eventually shift the scale, or you add another distraction, another compromise, another reason why today wasn't the day. The brutal mathematics of this is simple. 1 day of discipline feels like nothing. 1 week feels hard. 1 month feels possible. 1 year looks like a completely different person, not because you did something extraordinary. Because you did something ordinary relentlessly. The people who change the game aren't smarter than you. They're not luckier. They're not from better families or better circumstances. They're just the ones who decided that chaos wasn't their home. They built a structure inside themselves. They protected their attention like it was currency, because it is. They said no to 10,000 small things so they could say yes to one big thing, and then they protected that yes They woke up early. They did the work. They didn't need permission. They didn't wait for inspiration. They just moved the gear forward one tooth at a time. This is what discipline actually is. It is not suffering. It is not deprivation. It is the most rational, most logical response to a world designed to break your focus. It is choosing to be the architect instead of the clay. It is building the life instead of letting the life happen to you. You have chaos in your life right now. You have distractions. You have people and systems and impulses all pulling you in different directions. That is not a problem to solve. That is a fact to accept. The problem to solve is, will you build an engine strong enough to push forward anyway? Will you become the kind of person who decides something and then does it? Not perfectly, not without doubt, but consistently, relentlessly, every day, because here is what nobody tells you. Consistency is the infinite multiplier. One push-up doesn't change your body. One page doesn't make you a writer. One cold call doesn't make you a salesman. But 200 push-ups do, 10,000 pages do, 1,000 cold calls do. You don't need to be twice as smart or work twice as hard in the moment. You need to be twice as consistent across 1,000 moments. That is the secret. That is the math that actually works. The world doesn't reward talent anymore. Talent is everywhere. The world rewards discipline applied to talent. The world rewards the person who showed up, the person who did the work, the person who executed the plan while everyone else was still planning, the person who became a different version of themselves through the sheer weight of accumulated small actions. So here is what you do. Not tomorrow, today, right now. You identify one thing, one single thing that if you committed to it with absolute discipline for the next 90 days would shift everything, not 10 things, not a list. One, that is your North Star. That is what the engine is pulling toward. Then you create the ritual. You say it to yourself every single morning. You write it down. You speak it aloud. You install it into your operating system. I am committed to this. Today, I will execute. This, I am becoming the kind of person who does what they say they will do. Then you build the structure. You protect your morning. You eliminate the distractions that have names and faces. You build an environment that supports what you're becoming, not what you've been. Your desk, your phone, your calendar, your relationships, clean them, optimize them, make them accomplices in your discipline, not obstacles. Then you do the work, not when you feel like it. In the morning, before the chaos wakes up, before the world gets its hooks in you, you sit down and you move the needle, even a little, even when it doesn't feel like progress, especially then, because that is when discipline becomes real. One day of this is nothing. 1 week is still new. But 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, that is when you look in the mirror and you don't recognize yourself. Not because you changed your face, because you changed your structure. You became someone who does what they say. You became someone the engine obeys. That version of you is already waiting. The question is, will you have the discipline to show up and claim it? The answer is not yes or no. The answer is now. Move.